back to your #1 stop for Dune Awakening, and I am back once again, and this time we're going to be doing a little bit of house building, or I should say more so inventory management when it comes to your base, since as you progress through the game, you are going to get bigger and bigger bases, ideally, and you might be running into some issue trying to keep all your items straight. So today I'm going to teach you how to use circuits so you will know how exactly to organize and pretty much automate so much of Dune Awakening. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So to begin here, the main reason you want to use circuits here is especially when you get into a crafting item through, might it be like your fabricator or maybe your ore refiner or anything of the type, and you want to go ahead and not have to constantly be sitting there watching the being made or checking in on it, moving from inventory to inventory. It's a whole thing. So circuits is mainly going to be used for this. So let's go ahead and start off here by building us a very simple fabricator here. And we will break it down. So let's go ahead and just begin with a just very simple normal fabricator. So let's go ahead and build this here. And then we're going to go ahead and make us a chest as well for this, just as an example. So let's go ahead and put our chest down. The chest itself and it can be put anywhere. It does not have to be net to it or anything, but for the moment, we're just going to put it right here. So when it comes to that, whenever you go and you click on your storage unit, you will notice up here on the right side, two options of circuit 1 through 8 on both of these. So how this operates is, of course, when it comes to the fabricator, we're going to go ahead and we can set this up by clicking on storage. And from here, we have the same option of circuit 1 and 2. So the thing about circuits is the best way to think of it, and not label, but it still operates the same way, of input and output. So your very first circuit here will be your input, and your second one will be your output. So as you probably can have already started gathering here, if we go ahead and set our fabricator to circuit 2, and then we go back to our chest here, and we set this into input or circuit 1 here on the far left to circuit 2, that means any item that is made in a fabricator will go ahead and kick it out to your chest. But we're going to go ahead and just make us something very simple here. So let's go ahead and let's make us, let's say, 1 dart here, just for example. And once you go ahead and make this, and you go to storage, you will notice it listed here in storage under fabricator. But if we go back to the chest, it is not here. The main reason for this is because how that ends up operating when you are dealing with fabricators is the storage itself got to be completely full. So in that case, as you can see, we have 10 faces. And what we need to do is go ahead and fill up each of these. Lucky enough, we can go ahead, for this example, we can either make 10 items, or if you really want to just skip the middleman here, you can go ahead and pick whatever item you might have, and we can go ahead and split this, let's say, 10 times. And if we do this, once we have all 10 splitted, we can go ahead and just move the item into our fabricator. Once again, this is something you don't have to do, but if you do just want to go straight from the fabricator to your inventory, this is just a small, nice little trick of something you can do. So once you do this, if it's something you want to do, we're going to go back to fabricator, and we're just going to go ahead and make another item. Let's go ahead and say the glow tube, because I need to make one anyway. Let's go ahead and create 1 single of this. And once it go ahead and get created, and you go back to your storage, you will notice it is no longer here. And the main reason for that is because it have officially been added to our box. So as you can go ahead and see here, when it comes to fabricator, once the fabricator go ahead and fill up all 10 faces, whatever item that equated after that will instantly go to whatever you have set to socket to. And when it comes to this, as you can see, the item will stay, which is the main reason why I recommended putting a 10 of some little item that you plan on not using here, because when these end up quitting stuff, instead of kicking out the last item in storage, it will go ahead and just kick out the item that just been created. So this is something that is very useful, especially if you're doing a whole bunch of fabrication and you don't want to go ahead and run back to your bait constantly or waiting around to manually do this. So it is best to set this up. So the thing is also about that, it doesn't stop there, since as you can see, we do have it going to a chest. But what happens if the chests go ahead and get filled up? And we can go ahead and we're going to just put down a second one real quick. And if we go ahead and go into zip one and we make it also socket 2, and we go ahead and we go make another item. So let's go ahead and create one of the while. It will go ahead and be made, and it will go ahead and not kick out heal, but it will also go and be kicked out heal. So the thing is about this is pretty much how they operate, as you can see, is it will go ahead and pretty much kick out to any chest with the same socket, but it will go ahead and kick it out to the last one you created. So let's go ahead and say, as example here, let's just go ahead and make me some light ammo. And if we go ahead and do this, and we get this made, it will go ahead and kick out to the very last box. So keep that in mind when you are setting your sockets. Whatever the last box you made or chest you made, it will go there. So it's just going to walk its way down the line, being this one is completely full. So if we go ahead and we fill this up as example here, and then if we go back and try to actually make an item, it will go ahead and kick back to the very first chest here. So let's go ahead and say we're going to make one of the respawn beacons, and we're going to make that, and from here it will go ahead and go into the very first chest we done. So small little thing to keep in mind there for this, and that's how you use chests to link from your fabricator to chests. But now that you understand that, let's go ahead and take that one step further, which might be any more useful than the fabricator stuff, which is, of course, we're going to go ahead and make us a refiner of ore materials, and we're going to go ahead, go to our chests, and we're going to go ahead and set the socket to 1. You can be whatever number you want as long as it don't match your input of that chest. So in that case, we're going to do our output at 1. And then from our fabricator, we're going to go ahead and go to storage. Or I should say the ore refiner. Our input is going to be socket 1. So now when we go ahead and we go over here and we put our iron in, and our carbon in here, we can go ahead and head back to our refiner, and from here we can go ahead and create some steel ignite. So if we go ahead and create this, so let's go ahead and say just 1 for now. We can go ahead and get that being made, and once it get going, if we go back and look at our chests, it ended up using items from here. So once again, if I go ahead and just say, let's make a whole bunch of these just as an example, say 93, and it will go ahead and get going. So you can use your whole amount here. And if we go back and look at our chests, you would notice the items are now gone. So this is something that is extremely useful when you want to set up your fabricator here on the cake refiner to use one specific item or ore, and all you gotta do is dump it into that one chest, and once you get it going, it will go ahead and walk its way through. And of course, like always, if we want to go ahead and kick that back out to say socket 2, if we go here, go back into storage, and let's go ahead and say output to 2. And we can go ahead and want this completely filled up. But for the moment, let's go ahead and just stop this real fast. If we do the same trick as before, and let's say we start breaking these out into enough to fill up their whole inventory, which is 5. And we will go ahead and just put this stuff back in here. We can go ahead and get the exporting to our chests. So let's go ahead, let's put our iron back in here, and then let's go ahead and select iron again with our output being set to 2. And once we actually begin the process, we can go ahead and see it start popping back up in any chests with the number 2, once again, in whichever order you put down first. And once somebody get done, once again, they will not pop up here at all. But if we go back to our chests, you can go ahead and see it start popping up here. So as you can see, you can go ahead and do a lot of stuff with the fabricators when it comes to linking circuits. Also, something else that is very, very simple here. If you want to go ahead and be able to use all your items in your whole base, the best way to do it is, once again, keep circuit set to 1, and every one of your fabricators or finery or any of your crafting stuff also set to 1. And in that way, when you are crafting in your base, you can go ahead and pull from any chests that you have. So that is a very simple way to use this if you don't want to get into the nitty-gritty. But as you can see here, if you go ahead and set up a circuit like list of commands, that could become very useful very quickly, once again, especially for automated. So as you can see, it's a lot of useful stuff you can do here with circuit. And once again, input in, input out, to make sure the number match as far like your export to input. And then once again, you can do from one fabricator to a box to another fabricator if you want to pretty much make it where you only met with one menu. So this, once again, is extremely helpful for automation, organization, and hopefully will make your life a lot more easier inside of Dune Awakening. And if you have found this video helpful in any way, shape, or form, make sure to thumbs up, subscribe, hit all the bells below. Come on over to my live stream that we do every single night here on YouTube and twitch.tv/TroyMaconn. Come say hi. And of course, if you want to be like all the wonderful folks here, be sure to hit the join button here on YouTube to become a member. Hit up Patreon, link in the description, or by coming over to the live stream over on Twitch and subscribing/Amazon Priming over there. But with all that being said, that's going to do it for me. But I will see you in the comments.